Good morning, everyone. Rise and shine is early on this fine Saturday, and we've got a lineup of fascinating news stories to kickstart your weekend. In today's video, we're diving into some major news from Ubisoft. First up, Ubisoft has disbanded the team behind Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, shifting the developers to other projects. While the Prince of Persia remake seems to still be on the menu, the fact that we might not get a sequel to The Lost Crown is really disappointing. If Ubisoft could have gotten out of their own way, this might have been a fresh new start for the franchise and could have boosted Ubisoft's reputation. And they said Concord didn't get enough support. Moving into another Ubisoft story, they've announced a change in pricing for Assassin's Creed Shadows and are bringing it to the PC day one. If they weren't trying to push their own subscription service and these ridiculous pricing tiers, they might have had more goodwill left from the fans. But since they've exhausted everyone, this just smacks of desperation instead of a common sense move. Will this strategy give them a fighting chance in the competitive market? All answers point to no.
Don't count on it!
And finally, last week we talked about the FTC's proposed click to cancel rule, and now they're getting some pushback for their very pro-consumer move. Curious to know who's opposing it? We'll dive into the potential impact and the entities trying to stop the change. And that's what we're talking about today, with a little more sprinkled throughout, and I'm joined by the brightest minds on YouTube to give their expert analysis. Welcome to the Casual Consumer live stream. All right.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm just sitting here crossing my fingers like, oh God, please everything go okay.
I think part of what makes our streams great is when things go wrong.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. It
has a lot of personality.
Just like Cheese Whiz.
Cheese Whiz?
Cheese Whiz.
Does nobody remember that? Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
It's the leaning tower of cheese.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah. The
it's
Goofy movie.
The old commercials from like the 90s. Cheese Whiz adds personality. Oh God.
We remember commercials. But I always think the Goofy movie with the leaning tower of cheese.
Me too. Pauly Shore. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God.
Pauly Shore. Oh,
it's a name I'd like to forget. I keep hearing. My wife was telling me about this documentary that he was working on for the late Richard Simmons or.
Oh, okay.
Something. Yeah, that brought him back to mind. I hadn't thought about that guy since the last stupid movie he made, and I was fine with that.
I like Pauly Shore.
Never a fan.
I love like his voices because he was the bro guy back in the day, you know.
Yeah, he was.
All I think is I want to die and come back as a leotard. For Biodome.
Oh, no. And who was the other one of the Baldwins? Billy Baldwin.
It was hilarious.
I think it was Stephen Baldwin.
Was it Stephen or Billy?
One of them. I don't know.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I miss Pauly Shore. We are going to get a little dire this morning. The point of this is just to bring awareness to this. You know, we don't want anyone to get harassed or anything like this. However, it should be brought to American Airlines' attention so that something can be done about it.
Delta.
Was it American or
what did
Delta?
I say? Delta. Sorry. Don't go. Don't email Delta.
Sure, American Airlines has its own issues.
Email Delta. But you know, we've got two veterans on the panel, and shout out to Beerus, because he brought it to my attention. He did let me know that you brought it to his attention, Gamer. So we're going to take a look at this, and then we'll get into the fun stuff after this. But let's go ahead and get into it. I really need to change that transition to like a redder one. But as it goes, a Marine Corps veteran was removed from a Delta flight before she was ordered to change clothes when a flight attendant ruled that the passenger's shirt, which brought attention to the military's suicide, was threatening. Catherine Banks, a 22-year veteran of the Marine Corps, was aboard the Delta flight at San Francisco International Airport to visit her family. Let's get down to what this guy said to her. He said, ma'am, she looked around because she didn't know that he was talking to her. You need to get off the plane. And I was like, what did I do? That was coming a quote from her. So Banks' military background did not faze the flight attendant who issued her an ultimatum to return to the plane. So this man is drunk on his own freaking power over here. I don't care about your service. That's strike one for me. And I don't care about her service, referring to her sister, I want to say, who was in the Air Force. Am I right?
Yeah, she had a veteran sister that she was going to go visit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. And he says the only way you're getting back on the plane is if you take it off right now. And Banks, who was braless underneath her shirt, told the flight attendant to turn around so she could remove the seemingly polarizing shirt and replace it with a sweatshirt. So, I mean, disgusting behavior for one. And this is what the shirt said. It says, "Do not give in to the war within. End veteran suicide." Does anybody think that that's threatening? I'm asking everyone watching too. Is anyone
I'm trying to think like how you could look at that and see that it's threatening. Are the colors threatening? Maybe that's it.
Oh, my
maybe
goodness.
that person just doesn't like bold red letters.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
You could tell by the way he's speaking. He said, "I don't care about your service. I don't care about her service." You know, don't get me wrong. I don't agree with the military or the government, you know, on everything. On military more so, government not on most things, right? But I understand that our brothers and sisters in arms are going to fight a war that they may or may not agree with and die in a war that, you know, on foreign soil, you know, their parents may or may not get their body back, things like that, you know, pay the ultimate price so we could live the kind of lives that we live, right? And for this guy to say something like this, he needs to be fired. I mean, for, you know, optics standpoint for one, and two, a humanity standpoint. He doesn't care about people. How can you have someone who doesn't care about people in a customer service position?
You know? And they're supposed to care for people, and then you get the ethical questions. Like, if something goes wrong with that flight, if she had an emergency on that flight after this occurred, would he really be would he help her? You know what I mean? Is he serving her in a kind manner once she gets back on that flight and acting like she's anybody else?
Yeah.
You know, you don't want a normal company should not want someone working with them that brings bad press and bad optics.
Yeah.
There are 22 veterans a day that take their lives. We have people getting on Twitter, you know, bashing the military that are high profile people.
Or Twitch too.
Yeah, which I made a post about yesterday, you know, like really ugly, like, "Oh, I hope you go over there and you get PTSD and you're messed up in the brain," and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's very upsetting because there are people that join for a multitude of reasons.
Right.
It could be because they can't afford college. It could be that they don't want to be in student loan debt, so they're getting it paid back. It could be that it's a family tradition and pride. You know what I mean? Nobody joins thinking that they're going to go to war. I shipped out to basic training in January of 2001. I was at my very first duty station when September 11th happened.
Wow.
In no way, shape, or form, when I signed that dotted line, was I thinking about war. Okay? That was a war I can get behind because we were attacked on our own soil.
Oh, yeah.
That was terrorists.
Yeah.
I remember years of being a hero, and then suddenly, once everybody got sick of everything, being a villain. You know what I mean? And it's a hard thing to deal with. You know, having PTSD is not something you should wish on anybody. It's not a joke.
Spoken from somebody that doesn't understand PTSD.
Yeah. And the Tilt Valhalla project is the one that made this t-shirt. They're a great company. They donate a lot of money to services for veterans, and they want to bring awareness to veteran suicide because it's like it's horrible. You know, suicide in general is horrible, but with veterans, you're coming back and you're having to do these things and see these things that you never imagined, never anticipated, even if you think war is possible. You know what I mean? And there are a lot of people that just get to the point where they can't handle it and they want to be done. And I'm sorry, but the VA is stretched thin enough as it is. You know,
Yeah.
so programs like theirs are very, very helpful. And
Mhm.
if you're wearing the t-shirts around, you're bringing you might get a conversation out of it. I
Yeah.
know I do. I'll get questions all the time, you know,
Mhm.
and the more that people ask, the more that the money comes in, and the more that they can pour into
Right.
it.
You
And then
gain
you, and
supporters
then
that
you've
way. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you've got people like this that are like, I don't care,
Mhm.
you know. Well, first of all, that just makes me feel heartbroken and disheartened
Mhm.
and disrespected and
Scared for humanity, you know.
yeah, many
Good
other
Lord.
things.
It's like that's
But
a
it's just
basic understanding about, you know, what they do, and maybe
Yeah.
not agreeing with it, but knowing, you know, what they're heading to do, and giving their life for someone like you so that
Yeah.
you can enjoy the life that you have.
exactly
But real
so
quick,
that you can say things like that. You know?
exactly.
It's just like
Yes. But real
And-
quick, Gigi,
yeah.
Nas, did you have anything to say about this?
I to what Gigi said about
Mhm.
like not understanding these people don't get that being a member of the military is not all that they are.
That too, yeah.
You know, there are people behind the uniform. There are people that have their own reasons for going into the military.
Mhm.
Maybe go into it because they think that this is a way that they can help, or with noble intentions, maybe not so noble, but
Right.
regardless, we're all people. You can't be treated the same way. You can't paint everybody with a broad brush. And I know how easy it is to do that for such a target like the US military.
Yeah.
But you weren't dealing with the US military on this flight. You were dealing with two people who just wanted to go someplace.
Mhm.
How do you get offended by a damn t-shirt?
Yeah.
How are you such a, oh my God, how are you so fragile? Why is this everybody else's problem but yours? If you're bothered by it, whatever happened to, if you don't like it, don't look? Whatever happened to that?
Oh, it's gone.
Why is everybody else having to take responsibility because this person can't handle a t-shirt? My God, how freaking fragile are you that you get offended by a t-shirt? You get bothered by an inanimate object. Get out of here. You do not belong in customer service in any fashion whatsoever.
100%. In
Goddamn embarrassment.
yeah, 100%.
Sorry, pardon my language.
Oh, that's fine.
It's so stupid.
So,
And we're not trying to bash Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
Or,
No, just that particular employee.
yeah. and but we also feel like it's, even though we're primarily gaming and entertainment, like it's important to bring stuff like this to attention, not simply because there are two veterans on the panel today, but because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, 100%. So,
You know,
definitely send some emails out
We
to.
can bash Delta though if they don't do anything about it.
Yes.
yes.
So Delta,
we can.
if you don't do anything about this, you know, it just says that you agree with the sentiment that this man is sending to veterans, and
But really,
you know,
I mean, just this form of stupid censorship
mhm,
of a t-shirt
mhm,
shouldn't be happening anyway.
right.
Hire people with a little bit of backbone, please.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, 100%. Shout out to Miss Banks or Mrs. Banks. Shout out to her and her sister. Thank you for your service, and
Yes.
you know,
Thank you
I
so
hope this
much.
never happens to you again. Everyone, show them some support, because this was brutal, especially the fact that he made her change in front of him. That's that to me seems like a power, abuse of power type thing, you know.
I hate to say this, but there is a small silver lining to this, in that it gets that organization's name out there a little bit more, because I didn't know about them.
Yeah.
I'm not in the military and I'm not in the States, but I didn't know about them.
Yeah.
So I guess if you want to look for a silver lining, it's that it gets more exposure.
Yeah.
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 The Till Valhalla project.
Right on.
Yeah.
Shout out to Valhalla. Donate, please, if you can,
And
please.
Wounded Warrior project too. Don't forget
Yes.
about
That too. Yeah.
Yes. The Wounded Warrior Project is
Yep.
a fantastic one as well.
Oh yeah.
So
Right on. So moving on to our next one. I know that was pretty dire. We're gonna pick the the attitude back up, though. We're gonna raise it up. So we do have a a game trailer to get into. It looks freaking fantastic. GG, well, Nas, I know you're not huge on anime. You're dipping your toes in right now, but GG, are you a big anime fan? I know Scotty is.
I used to be when I had all these children needing me. I used to watch a lot more, and especially, you know, when you're in the military, you get exposed to like all sorts of things, and everybody just kind of piles up and shares things and watches movies and stuff.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I actually really do love anime. I just haven't had the chance in probably like 10 years to really get invested in a whole lot.
Right on.
But luckily, my two younger sons really love it. So I do get to come in and see things every once in a while because they'll be out there in the living room talking about, let's watch this, let's watch that. So.
Right on. Well, this one is reminiscent of this. And if you, I'm trying to see like what can I compare this to? You're just gonna have to see it for yourself. Let's get into it. Let's get over there real quick.
Superhero land.
Really bad for the knees.
Right.
This is a Bandai, right? Spirit Strike.
Okay, here we go.
Man.
Sorry,
I was thinking of something else.
Like, so abruptly ended. Here we go.
Oh,
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I man, it's so, to me, I think they really maybe clean this up a little bit because it just feels unfinished. It looks unfinished to me.
It's a little chaotic.
Yeah, that too. So I mean, you might feel a little bit different. You know, people might absolutely love the style that it looks like it's going for. But to me, it does look a little unfinished. But what I would I'm really looking forward to this. This scratches my anime itch a lot. I hope that didn't sound inappropriate, right? But you know, and those the action scenes, they're freaking awesome. The disappear, reappear, disappear. Go ahead, guys. Sorry.
You're going to spend like an hour charging up in the sky.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully it comes from you know, you hitting in that charges some kind of meter or whatever, or dodging or whatever.
Kind of like in Mortal Kombat, when you hit so many combos, you get your special move bar filled.
What's coming out this year?
Yeah, we're right on. Thank you guys. But his reappear and disappear, that thing is so freaking cool, man.
That's pretty wicked right there. I love that.
It's killing me watching this. It's like that
It
shudder.
has to take some getting used to though, because I always find those to be a little disorienting. Because when you rematerialize, it's like, okay, what direction am I facing? Am I behind the enemy, or am I like facing the direction I was before I transported? Then I have to turn around, and that just takes a little bit of getting used to. But this looks like fun.
Yeah.
Games like these are fun, where you basically just beating the crap out of a. It's simple. It's
fighting games are fun.
Yeah.
Like
what's the name? It was Asurus Wrath. Asurus Wrath. That was basically what do you call that? Action buttons, or where you're just pressing buttons during the cinematics.
Oh, QTEs. Quick time events.
Quick time events. So that it was basically just that, but it's so good.
Usually with those, the payoff is more cinematic. It's not really you're not really directly contributing to what's happening on the screen. It's just you're triggering a cinematic sequence.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can be fun. It can still be exciting. I know some people don't like them, but too much of them can really be frustrating.
Oh yeah, because you're not playing a video game at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It feels
But
kind
there's
of like the
moments like
Telltale
where
games.
you've got like sword clashes, right?
Mhm.
Where it makes sense. Okay, otherwise you're just going to be sitting there watching, but you just spam that square button. Come on, you really gotta try. You gotta push. And then you're rewarded with the watching your character kick some more ass. It's kind of fun. Like those, I think, are well placed.
Yeah.
My gosh. So
But this has a demo.
This looks brutal. I love it.
here, I'm gonna skip to the end real quick. See what we got here. It says Spirit Strike, a demo available now on Steam.
Mhm.
Nice.
So it looks like it might not be going anywhere else. Is it just on Steam?
Hang on, let me look. Steam is just usually the first place that I look.
Yeah.
Because that's where I get most of my games from.
Yeah.
Awesome.
PC game and all that. But
Yeah.
let me see.
It's okay. We know once I get my new house and I have my own office, so we might get more into PC gaming.
That
Right
is
on.
so clean. It makes you so this is I feel makes you feel like invincible. Because let me go back to this. This whole sequence was freaking nuts.
Yeah.
So when he hold on, wait, nope, that's not the one.
He does launch him into
This
into
one.
the sky.
Oh yeah. But this part right here where he kicks that guy, dodges the bullets, and then just brutalizes this man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like that would make me feel like Goku, you know?
Yes.
It's like it's
If you had a bad day at work, I'm gonna go beat the crap out of some pixels.
yes.
All right.
It's definitely a stress reliever. So what do
It's
we
like
feel?
that meme that they're always like, I had a hard day at work, let me relax, and you like have this hard video game that induces rage and stuff like that. And people are like, how's this help you relax? Just leave me alone.
Oh yeah, don't worry
Yeah,
about
so
it.
this is just PC, which
Okay.
yeah, I do find that surprising.
Right on. All right.
Yeah,
That's
but
fair.
it might later come to
Mhm.
other platforms. You never know.
Oh yeah. And,
Yeah.
and
Depends on the popularity. But
what's
there's a
yeah.
lot on consoles that don't go to PC, and there's a lot on PC that don't go to consoles.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I think we're gonna see a lot less of console games that don't come to PC. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna, they're obviously trying to break into the market.
Yeah.
Xbox is pretty much already there because you can game on your computer with Game Pass and stuff. So
Yeah.
I
So
think it's gonna probably depend on how many sales they're expected to have on console,
yeah,
and then they'll roll out the PC version later on for
Mhm.
that secondary market.
And so
I know.
my thing with this is so to your point, GG, it feels like PC is more accommodating to console. It's like for some reason console wants to hold on to all their toys and not send it to PC just because I don't know, they're worried people might leave their platform. It's like
I think that's mostly what it is they're afraid that they're going to lose those sales on the console side.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I understand. I can't really blame them, but there's always going to be people that are like, I want to spend less money on this console and have it for 6 years instead of having to upgrade something in my PC that I might have to do in 2 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might have to do with the fact that PC gaming is better.
Because NAS is part of the master race.
There you
It's
go.
part of it.
I will never say that. I will never use those words. I think they're tacky personally.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
It's hilarious. I do think the console wars are pretty silly too, you know?
I've always thought the
Let's
console,
just
yeah.
play.
That's right.
You know, shall we move into our second? Well, I guess this is our first article. So we know Japan studios, Sony, they shut down, and an ex-PlayStation boss, I want to say is Sean Layden? What's his name? Yes,
Yeah.
Sean Layden. He had some things to say about why it went under. Let's get into that real quick. So it says the closure of PlayStation Studio in Japan in April 2021 didn't really surprise former Sony executive Sean Layden. In a new interview, Layden has shed some light on the beloved developer's disbanding, and while he was sad to see it go, Layden understands why Sony made that decision. It says PlayStation Japan Studio struggled to produce a hit game in its final years. Speaking of IGN, Layden said that Japan studio hadn't released a hit game in a while, and he thinks that's an issue that a large number of Japanese developers have been facing. He's of the view that studios with an excellent track record started experiencing troubles around the PS3 era due to a technical shift, with many of them unable to return to their former glory. No lies, that's fair to say.
That's pretty accurate.
I don't know. That seems like a pretty big generalization.
We're almost there. So there was so much legacy malaise, Layden said of Japan studio. It's tough when a studio hasn't had a hit for a while, then they forget how that feels. Layden thinks Sony's approach to Team Asobi, which was born out of Japan studio, is akin to pruning a bonsai. Layden thinks that Japanese developers like Capcom and to some extent Bandai Namco Entertainment are in a good place. However, others like Square Enix, Koei Tecmo, and Konami are still somewhat struggling. Square Enix and Konami, yes. And I think Square Enix's problem was that they attached themselves way too long to Sony instead of spreading it out and, giving their games the best possible chance. That's why they're struggling right now. And Konami just are mismanaging all of their IPs. The best one, the biggest one that is coming out of Konami right now is the Metal Gear Solid Delta, and I can't wait for that game. Don't get me wrong. I think that's a good chance for them to kind of buy some time to really think about what they want to do with these IPs. Remake them and then do something new. That's what I'm looking forward to. Yes.
Even Bandai Namco.
Oh,
Bandai Namco has Dragon Ball Sparking Zero that just came out, which is really popular.
Yeah.
But also Unknown 9, which is
didn't do great. A free game. Is a free one.
A AAA game.
Yep. Yeah, and it had one of the most beautiful women in it. How you screw that up? Who knows?
I watched some of the playthrough for that. This is a PS5 level game, and it didn't look like it at all. It looked like the graphics were from the PS3.
No, ouch. Well,
it was ugly. It was an ugly game.
God dang it. Oh, by the way, this is from PlayStationLifestyle.net, and this is being pinned by Zarmina Khan. Sorry. Go ahead. Gigi, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I actually saw this article earlier this week, and I can kind of agree with him, because when you think about it, like, if you've got like let's use the Dallas Cowboys, because everybody seems to love them for some reason. So like, they're this big, popular, successful team, and then suddenly they're not, and you get that, Tony Romo was really good, but like, there was so many years of him not being good.
There you go.
And head coaches and all this other stuff, and so you get the owner going, okay, so get out of here, because obviously I need to change something, because you're not making it happen. And then when that didn't work, he's like, okay, now you get out of here, because it's not working. Let me try to get back to our glory. So I can see what he means by that, because it's like, if you have so long without even making it to the Super Bowl, what's the point? I
don't know. Playoffs. If you make it to the playoffs, you're doing pretty good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many people, even up here in Canada, I see a lot of people wearing Dallas Cowboys jerseys and shirts and hats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm an underdog
person, so I'm a Seattle
You guys have your
Seahawks
own Canadian Football League, don't you?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we do. I suppose. I don't watch it.
Do they play on ice?
Sometimes.
That's awesome.
When it snows, sure.
Sounds like us when we were in Alaska.
That's basically hockey, though. Football on ice is just hockey.
Playing softball during a blizzard.
I'd have to say the hockey players are probably tougher.
Yeah. Oh shoot, dude. They have less
But
equipment.
they got no personality.
However,
hockey players are like planks of wood.
Yeah.
You try and talk to them in interviews. Oh man. Football players are so much. That's the thing I like about football is the players are so much more interesting to talk to.
Yeah.
Like in interviews, they are much more compelling to listen to. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Some are, I guess you could say. But I mean, the sheer size difference between a lot of the hockey players and football players, that could definitely turn a tide. Toughness does play a big role in it, but if you're just outsized, there's like nothing you can do.
You would look at a lot of like hockey players, and they all look like they all look like quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
They all have that
Yeah.
same body type,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. But
anyway,
when you face them up with a linebacker, then it's,
that's
it's
true.
like someone that's 250 pounds, freaking can run a 440, 4.40. You're about to get into a world
like
of hurt.
Freight train coming at you. Yeah.
Exactly. It's freaking crazy. Anyway,
saying.
what are we talking about right now?
So anyway, now back from my analogy that got us off track. My bad. I'm ADHD, guys. I can't help it.
Oh,
We
my
all
goodness.
are, it seems.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah,
kind of all
when
followed
you're-
you down that rabbit hole.
when you're not having a winning game come out, you've got nothing like getting nominated for any awards.
Mm.
The sales aren't up to par with what
Mhm.
you're thinking about, and it's consistent for so long. And then you come to a problem that all of the video game industry got into with COVID, where they were like, we're making so much money, so let's invest.
Mhm.
And then, everybody went back to work.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Wasn't this guy the president at some point
Mhm.
between 2014 and 2019?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
this guy was the president.
Mhm.
But when you're looking to cut losses, you've got to look at stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's true. If you don't have a winner or something, even getting like a huge cult following
Mhm.
that brings you sales, and a lot of attention to what's going on, you're thinking about, well, I need to trim the fat, so where do I go?
Yeah. Yeah.
The question I have though
Yeah.
is, was that the purpose of Japan Studio, to generate hits? Because not every studio, there's only so many hits that can be released
Exactly.
from one publisher at a time. There's only so many hours that you've got.
Mhm.
That is true, but if they're not making the money,
There's a lot
that's
of
how they
titles
measure.
that-
That's how they measure the hits. To be honest, it's not about the video game awards or the accolades or anything like
Right,
that.
because there are
Yeah.
games that get awards that don't really sell that well.
Yeah, it's about
Sometimes.
The impression
Yeah.
that I got from Japan Studio was that they were more of a creative, innovative studio than one that just popped out popcorn hits.
Yeah.
And you need studios like this.
Yeah.
So I
100%.
just wonder if they let them do their thing, and then suddenly, well, money is the focus. So we have to look at every place that we have that's not making as much money as we want.
Yeah.
And they were a target.
Yeah. I think
I don't know.
Yeah. In my opinion, it boils down to mismanagement of the executives. To your point, GG, when COVID hit, it was a free for all. Embracer with Darth Lars over there, they went absolutely
Yes.
nuts, and they're paying the price for it now. Even though they do have some really great IPs under their umbrella, and it's a real shame that the Embracer has them. I wish they would give them to other people and let them do something with them. Maybe they could flourish with it. But pretty much everyone was an Embracer group to a bigger or lesser extent. They went out of their minds buying up, paying $300 million for projects, i.e. Spider-Man 2. Even though there are games like Hi-Fi Rush that do well, but instead of, giving them more money to, Tango Gameworks, giving them more money to make another Hi-Fi Rush, a sequel, or a whole nother IP, they shut them down. It's in this day and age, even good studios that make good games can be shut down. Xbox showed us that. So I think it's just mismanagement from executives not knowing what to do with a lot of their studios that they have, and squashing anything that might have a promising future. So to me, I don't necessarily, I get where he's coming from. And plus, he was the president over there at Sony. But
yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Why are we hearing so much from this guy now?
I know he's everywhere right now.
Why am I suddenly aware of who Sean Layden is, and why is he just? I looked into him a little bit. He's a strategic advisor for Tencent, so I'm wondering if part of his motivation for saying all of this is, in service to that.
Oh, Tencent.
And I'm wondering if it's been what, 5? Yeah, it's been about 5 years. Did his non-disparagement or NDA run out? did he have like a 5-year NDA that he had to sign as part of his exit interview with Sony, and it ran out?
It does, yeah.
5 years later, and all of a sudden, this
actually,
guy's talking out of both sides of his mouth.
that actually probably is something that occurred, because you have an NDA for X amount of time, or even non-compete clauses and stuff.
Because we haven't heard anything from Jim Ryan yet.
Yeah,
that's true. And that's got for such high-profile executives that I'm assuming that that's a part of it. You can't work for a competitor. You can't say anything about your time here for X amount of time.
Right.
Yeah,
you might be exactly right on this. But on the question of, do studios need to make hit games to survive?
No.
I don't think that they need it. I don't think that they need to be hit video games in the sense that, like, we see all the commercials everywhere and like we see so much about a game that you're like sick of it and it sweeps the video game awards and all that. No, I don't think that's what's necessary.
Right on.
I mean, obviously you want to make a profit on your investment and your time that went into the video games, and I think that's what they're looking at. But Shadow, come on now.
Make a good game and let it become a hit on its own.
Yeah.
Don't focus on
it's also like, oh, well, you know, we've got this game and it did this much, but I wanted it to make this much and it didn't. So this studio is bad.
Yes.
You know, and it's just like, you know, it always reminds me of that
Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown.
Yeah, but it reminds me of that scene in Armageddon where they're about to like set off the bomb because they have this sheet from these scientists that don't know anything that tell them how deep they should be and at what time for drilling into the asteroid so they can blow it up. It reminds me of that. Like, the executives are those people, those scientists sitting around making guesstimates and
100%.
telling you that if it's not at this particular time, then you need to just cut losses and go. You know, I feel like that's how it is lately.
Yeah,
so they're just like, chasing trends.
Yeah, so it's like, I spent $500,000 to make this video game total, so I need to make $1 million or more to be happy. You know what I mean? Instead of getting like $100,000 profit, you're not happy with that. You want like extreme profits. And
at the same time, though, to your point, Gigi, that also means that they're more risk averse. Because they're going to stick with what has worked in the past to get them to that level, to make that money
so
for them.
we're not getting those innovative games.
Exactly. And then on top of that, like,
to give you an example, like, think of how many hero shooters we've seen that have come out lately that have flopped. Everybody's chasing that trend. Oh, sorry, Fox.
No, it's okay. No.
Proof that I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of my head, Nas. But the live service, everyone's chasing them so they can have a game that they can just sit on and it just prints money. And Sean Layden talked about this, and I have to agree with him 100%. Everyone has their own live service that they're playing right now. To ask them to invest in a new one, they have to, change a bunch of stuff to get into a new game, learning the system, checking out the microtransactions that they have, when they can just stick with their old faithful. They like it. They play it all the time. They invest hundreds, even thousands of hours into it. Stop chasing these live services, studios. Leave it be. Make good games that are not live services, right?
Innovate. Or hell, make a live service game that's good and innovative, because that's what people are looking for.
Right on. I would be surprised. I want to see what that looks like, though. I want to see what that looks like if people will actually like go to the next what's that, Fortnite. If it doesn't have to be like Fortnite, but another big game that like comes through
that is just as successful as
Fortnite. Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if people will just flock to it. We haven't seen that though.
Microtransactions, man.
That too. I don't mind microtransactions. I want the ability to be able to earn the stuff myself, though.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But they come out with so much, and everybody gets FOMO, and they spend so much more than they should.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. As much as I hate microtransactions, we know I do it sometimes.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I've engaged in that practice before.
Yeah, and I mean,
Really?
like,
Oh yeah.
honestly, like with Fallout 76, I think that's the most. They do have some outrageous stuff, but then like it's not terrible.
Right. Yeah.
Like buying the in-game money, but you get to earn it too.
Yeah.
And at a higher rate than I've seen in other games. Like if I tried to do that in Assassin's Creed, I'd be there for 7 billion years trying to get one freaking thing. You know, in-game transaction.
It's a little dishonest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, you know, with Fortnite, it's just like, dude, quit. With every 2 weeks you've got new stuff in the item shop and it's all this expensive and nobody has a chance to earn anything. And that gets old. I mean, I just
well, like
even Fortnite's going to run its course at some point.
Exactly.
It will not continue forever.
Yeah, kind of like GTA, like, you know, we've spanned 3 generations with GTA 5. You've come out with live services, you've come out with a subscription service and all this other stuff. Well, it's old now. We want something new.
Exactly. So as far as, you know, participating in the microtransactions, I play Brawlhalla as my favorite, and they had a Ninja Turtle skin and a Kung Fu Panda skin. And I just could not resist that. So yeah, I've participated in the microtransactions. Now let's move on to God of War. And
for that though, I want to see one. I want to ask one question: Is Sean Layden basically going to be a figurehead for Tencent? Are we going to be seeing more of this guy, like speaking for Tencent in a similar way? Obviously, not the same position, but like a Phil Spencer.
So what's
or
funny,
like a Todd Howard is for Bethesda. Are we just going to be seeing more and more of this guy and his lukewarm takes? I'm not gonna lie, I do appreciate some of his takes, like the ones about the live service. I thought that was a pretty decent take. This one so much, but this one was pretty lukewarm. You know, and I don't agree with him 100%. But I had, before you said he worked for Tencent, I had no idea. Yeah, I'm just curious.
It could be that his NDA wore out, and also that they're trying to get him in front of people so they can start getting his name out there so that he can jump off for Tencent.
That's why I'm saying, like, is he going to be a figurehead?
Maybe. I mean, he's making himself pretty. He's getting his name out there exposed pretty well. So maybe, you know,
we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Time will tell. We'll see. If it happens, we're gonna be all over it.
Yes. So this next one's about the God of War show that I want to say it's Prime that's coming out with it, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's been hitting a little bit of turmoil, but now they have a God tier showrunner. This one's coming from, I want to say Gizmodo. Yes, Gizmodo. And this is being penned by Germain Lucier. I think that's right.
Yeah, I think it's Lucier.
Nas, you're the French speaker, yes?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Penned by Germain Lucier. Yeah, probably.
Right on.
Probably French.
Okay. See, I'm smart. Okay. When Amazon parted
never said you weren't.
No, I'm just joking. This is like uncultured Americans. No, I'm just kidding.
You guys have your own French heritage too, and then you turned it into Louisiana as it is now.
Creole.
Thanks for the jazz, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding.
We didn't. Somebody did.
With what? With Louis? Oh, Creole.
Oh, he said we turned it into something else, the French, and I was like, we didn't, because I'm near Louisiana, but you know.
Yeah, you're real close.
Well, I mean,
you're next door neighbors.
Yeah.
You weren't there at the time all this was happening.
I know.
At least I hope not.
That'd make you some kind of vampire or something.
I look good for my age.
So when Amazon parted ways with the showrunner of its upcoming video game adaptation, God of War, we assumed the worst, but now the opposite has happened. Ronald D. Moore, one of the main forces behind fantastic shows like Battlestar Galactica, For All Mankind, and Outlander, has boarded as writer, producer, and showrunner, which is great news for a show with huge.
How did they not mention Star Trek: The Next Generation? I'm so pissed at this. Germain Lucier, come on, do your research.
Germain Lucier. We won't go over that. So let's see. Is this a okay? The God of War is a compelling character-driven franchise that we believe will captivate our global customers as much as its expansive and immersive worlds as its rich storytelling. Vernon Sanders, head of global television, blah 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 blah. So right, fine. Thank you, Jermaine. So my problem with all of these adaptations is that a lot of the people who are show running these things really put their own spin on it, and it loses its identity. You know what I mean? Halo taking it. So and my thing is like, if you don't like it the way that the game is supposed to be presented, then it's not for you. You know what I mean? Like, if you are not about Kratos, tearing God's heads off, then it's not for you. You know what I mean?
If that's what the adaptation is going to be,
it should be that, because if you're making a God of War show, it's for people who love God of War, and it's supposed to be, in my opinion. It should be,
because the games already exist for people that love God of War. This is going to have to have some sort of adaptation for broad appeal, which means they're going to probably have to water down some of the game franchise in order to fit, I guess, modern-ish sensibilities. And that's why that's the biggest problem that I have with adaptations.
So my thing is that, sure, yes, the game is for gamers, but if you're bringing it to TV, for me, it's more of exposing this franchise to people who don't play games. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean when I say the broad appeal.
Yeah.
Right? For non-gamers or anybody that may have heard of God of War or wants to watch something with some mythology surrounding it.
Right.
It's going to have to change to be adapted to broader audiences. So, and I'm curious how the studio and how the showrunner, how the writer are going to achieve that.
So, I mean, you can't just go in and make it like a movie based on the video game itself, because you can't just go in and just have all this fighting and all this and like, there's stuff in the video games that even gamers are like, well, let me look into this, and then they get more backstory that wasn't in the game or something like that,
It can be done.
I think they'll have those fight scenes and those missions and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's just going to be interesting to see how they do it. And are they going back to the OG trilogy, or are they going with this?
I think they're going with
yeah. Or are they going to try to do a mixture of both?
I guess.
You obviously have to go into it like nobody knows anything about it, because you're going to get a brand new audience.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, but the problem with that, though, is how much expository dialogue are you going to be giving people to catch them up? Are you going to be doing a lot of show, or are you going to be doing a lot of tell? If you're doing a lot of tell, it's going to be crappy. There's ways of introducing people to story elements, but indirectly, right? And not assuming that your audience is an idiot, and actually able to piece things together based on little tidbits here and there. Right, but a lot of these showrunners just want to just tell everybody, here's what's going on, and it feels very stilted, feels very unnatural, and feels very boring.
Or they want to make it their own.
Like when Kratos had to go down to Helheim to get the heart from that guardian or whatever, and it showed in the clouds Zeus's face, and it kind of, a throwback to the first 3 games, and it was the head. What is his name? I can't remember. But he's the all-knowing guy in the Norse mythology. But he figured it out. He was our kind of eyes into what the past Kratos had to go through, what his past was like. I think they should do something like that. But okay,
Mimir?
I keep saying
Mimir, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kept thinking about Thor's hammer when you were like,
Mjolnir.
yeah,
No.
and I was like, oh no, I can't get it out of my head.
But I think if you're going to make an adaptation that's going to have that recognizable franchise, the name, you say God of War, people who do recognize it are expecting it to be a certain way, right? And they're going to show up for this show to see what it's all about. Now,
and hope that you don't make us angry.
See, and that's the thing. So if you're attaching God of War to this, we're expecting certain story beats to be followed. We're expecting Kratos to be like Kratos, Atreus to be like Kratos, Atreus to be like Atreus, and Mimir, everyone to be the same in game as they are in the show. But if it's not, my question is, like, why make it in the first place? I understand there are some things that you have to cut because, it's a 15, 20 hour game. There are going to be some things you need to cut to make this fit a show kind of deal, right? But it should still keep that spirit of God of War. And if people don't like it, I'm sorry, then why make a God of War show if you're not?
Because the Super Mario Brothers movie and Sonic the Hedgehog made money. That's why.
That's true. But they with Sonic, for me, I didn't really go deep into the lore. I watched the cartoon a lot. Loved Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and that had it had a decent story to it. One thing I wish they would have done, which I don't think they did in the Knuckles show, I wish Knuckles would have been see contradiction. I'm a hypocrite, right? Because Sonic's the one that defeated Chaos, and I wanted Knuckles to defeat Chaos because it was his tribe that got decimated by Chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna give you guys the last word on this because I feel like
I agree.
Too deep in the weeds right here.
I mean, I agree with you on the Knuckles thing. But there's ways to do it where they're enough like the game and have like something new enough to bring other people in. There's a way that you can do it. We saw with Halo that they can't. So whoever did that one should not have access to this show.
It's not that it's impossible. It's just that some people are just not good at it. Not everybody's good at their job.
Yeah. Truth.
But Amazon's had
not a good track record.
Rings of Power. What was that other one that they did? Wheel of Time.
Oh yeah.
God.
Yeah, they've had some pretty bad ones.
Yes.
I honestly did like Fallout, the TV show, because I knew it wasn't going to be all video. Like, it was going to be video game based, and they were going to come out with this whole other story. I knew that it was going to be that way, and so I was really excited. I didn't have high expectations, but I was really excited by it, and I ended up overall just absolutely loving it. Like, they did great with the character Lucy.
And I thought she was awesome.
And then to get Ella Purnell to play her was a very smart choice, I think.
She's got big old anime eyes, man. It's crazy.
She does.
Yeah.
She does. And so I really like her as an actress anyway, but I think she did fantastic with that show.
Yeah.
And I think that the development from naive and sheltered to where she ended up left a really good spot for a season 2.
Oh yeah.
And I think that they did a fantastic job with it. I have hardcore Fallout fans that are just like, I absolutely love the show. It was the best. We just rewatched it and all this other stuff, and then there's other people that are like, it sucked.
Yeah.
So you're not
people like me
going to satisfy everybody.
And I think that's
people like me who couldn't get past the first episode.
Yeah. And so that's a great point, just because it feels like you're going to lose some of your gaming audience with this, right?
You've got a lot of different expectations. Just from announcing this project, people's imaginations are going to start going, well, I wonder which story they're going to tell. Are they going to tell something that's already been told in the games, or is this going to be something new?
Right on.
And how are we going to ruin this? Sorry, that was just my cynicism talking.
Right on. All right. Shoot, man. I feel like there's not much more we can get on this one. We've got a really good head showrunner that's being attached to it, so hopefully
we're just gonna hope for
good.
the best, because it's a
Hopefully the studio just lets him work.
Yes,
it's a great franchise.
It is.
So let's do right by it, bro.
So for this one, oh shoot, I don't know what. Anyway, so a lot of talk about Telltale, being shut down and then coming back, and then them working on The Wolf Among Us 2, highly anticipated title. But we haven't heard a whole lot from them. So this is just to kind of, give people a little bit of relief. So it says The Wolf Among Us 2 hasn't been canceled despite rumors. It says Telltale coming out and saying it themselves. And this is by The Gamer, being penned by Jack Coleman. That's a strong name, bud. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So it says, we'll get down to Telltale saying, okay, so there was no evidence to back claims but Telltale Games still gave a response to an inquiry by Eurogamer. It reads, as a rule, we don't comment on rumors in unsubstantiated Reddit threads, but development on The Wolf Among Us 2 continues, and we're excited to share more about the game with Telltale fans and our community when the time is right. So we know that you switch everything to Unreal Engine 5, and hopefully that speeds up the turnaround for The Wolf Among Us 2. And as far as I know, we don't have a release date quite yet, so we're still waiting for that. But they're still cooking, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be just as good as the first one. The first one was a freaking revelation. It was great, so good. So just a quick announcement, ease everybody's minds. And so moving on to the day before devs. So recently they started a GoFund or Kickstarter or whatever. After their game showed up day one and was shut down, like I want to say that same day or the next day. Yeah. And so after that, they disappeared, came back with a Kickstarter and said, hey, we got an idea for a new game. So they canceled that Kickstarter, and now they're announcing another game. This is a a saga, right? So this comes from IGN, and this is being penned by Ryan Disdale. The day before dev cancels failing Kickstarter and announces another game in the same breath. So just for anyone who don't know, if they do go over like the history of them, I will go through it, but the day before developer Fantastic has canceled its failing Kickstarter for one game and announced another one in the same breath. Fantastic, who released the utterly disastrous the day before in December 2023, before pretending to shut down, resurfaced in September, asking for money for a new game, the Fizzy Space multiplayer game Escape Factory. It has now canceled this project. However, after it reached just 15.73%, I don't know why you had to get that exact, it could have just said 16%, of its Kickstarter goal, with 3,146 raised of a $20,000 goal. Our campaign on Kickstarter is unlikely to reach our goal, Fantastic said in a statement published on X announcing another game. After careful analysis and discussion with the team, we have decided that our Escape Factory project has not generated enough interest, it said. The Kickstarter reached the 15.7 marked after 4 weeks. With this in mind, we have decided to temporarily suspend work on Escape Factory and postpone it until a more appropriate time.
So what are they doing with the money from Kickstarter that they got for it? Are they returning it?
I think with Kickstarter, if you don't reach your funding goal, the money goes back, isn't it?
Very cool.
I would hope so.
I hope so, yeah.
Because I'd be mad if I did a Kickstarter and they were like, "Oh, never mind," and then I was out that money.
Yeah, because then you would be able to say, "Oh, I have a XYZ, give me money for this," and then you don't reach your goal, but you still made like $3,000 off of it. And it was like, oh, it could have been a fraudulent type thing, just to get money. To tamp that down, you would have to give them money back if you didn't reach your goal. You know what I mean? You would have to. I would think anyway.
This just sets off all of the scam alert warnings in my head.
The red flags. So and then it's yeah. So here we go. And this is coming from Fantastic. All funds generated from these apps will go directly into development, it said. Okay. And see, this is why. Okay, so everyone out there, I didn't prep as much because work has been like kicking me in the balls repeatedly this week. So I'm gonna read
Closer
through.
it gets to the holidays, the worse it's gonna be.
Yes.
But we also like to sometimes just go into it fresh so that we're just as surprised as you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay, I'm going to read these couple paragraphs and then we'll discuss. Fantastic is now allegedly working on items in action horror prop hunt game. Your wishes are very important to us, it said. This is exactly what many of you have been waiting for. No Kickstarter was announced, but Fantastic said it may return to the crowdfund route or explore other options once a demo for the game is made. Development requires significant resources, so Fantastic has decided to release mobile games to support the process. So that's where they're saying the apps will help fund the game they want to create of their dreams. So
Okay.
just a word of caution to anyone who still believes in Kickstarter Fantastic. Let them just fade away into obscurity. They were never really a serious studio or company to begin with, and this whole thing just raises so many red flags. If you donate money to them, you probably won't see it again. Go ahead. Nah, sorry.
Asset flips are a common enough problem that they have a term called asset flips, where the game will just use either free or stolen assets from another game and then just package it as its own. Because a lot of people were saying when the actual gameplay footage was revealed for day before, it looked like a lot of assets from other games.
Yeah.
So that was one of the speculations around it. But also just look at what they've done. They launched a game and then it canceled it, or just closed the studio like a few days later. You got to give these people, if you want to deal with them, fine. I'll never say don't deal with these people, but be careful and let them prove that they're capable of actually putting something on the table before you pay for it.
Yeah. 100%.
You can still support them. You can still follow them on social media, whatever, but just be careful with your money, because there are people out there. We don't want to believe that there are scam artists out there, but there are, and they're everywhere.
Yep. 100%.
And they're always looking for people that are willing to support them with their goodwill. If somebody is proving to you that they are a dishonest scammer, believe them.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
I can't get behind a company that is like, oh well, here's this game, and then oh no, we're done, we're out of business, and then comes back and asks for stuff not that long after.
They did give out refunds though in there.
I know they did, and good for them. However, like something is your business is not there or whatever it is. So you need to take some time and work on that before you start asking for money from Kickstarters.
Yes.
Yeah, build up some goodwill.
Yeah, you got to. This short of a time period after you decide to announce another game. Come on, guys. Calm down.
Our memories aren't that short. I mean, social media hasn't completely destroyed our long and short-term memory.
This is true.
Not yet.
It's trying real hard right now. So just to recap, they're coming out with another game funded by other online games that they're trying to create their dream game. Support them if you want, do what you want, but a word of caution to this tale, like the fates from Hercules. Moving on. So this is one of our main stories. Assassin's Creed Shadows early access officially canceled as Ubisoft drops collector's edition price by $50, which makes it still like $220 amid delays in scrap season pass plans. This is coming from Game Radar, and this is being pinned by Ali Jones. So the Assassin's Creed Shadows collector's edition will no longer offer early access, blah, 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 blah. We just went over that. The Assassin's Creed Shadows delay was accompanied by the unofficial suggestion that the early access window had been removed from the collector's edition, while the original release date was split between November 12th for early adopters and November 15th for everyone else. The new release date seemed locked to a single day, February 14th, on Valentine's Day. It's taken a while for Ubisoft to confirm that would be the case, but there's now little doubt as to what day you'll be able to play Shadows. It's been a rocky few weeks for Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed Shadows' delay was fueled in no small part by the mediocre response to Star Wars Outlaws, a failure that the company says it's learning from in its decision here. These recent fumbles, however, have sent share prices tumbling, prompting an official response to rumors that CEO Guillemot was looking for buyout options. In the meantime, Ubisoft says that the delay is part of a desire to make sure execution is flawless on Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is described as the most ambitious entry in the franchise.
Good luck.
So a question to you, two amazing, thoughtful minds is,
no.
is there anything they can do to, not to ensure, but to make it more of a success when it does release?
Okay. I don't know. I actually was not interested in Mirage at all. I didn't buy it. I don't want to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. I was very excited when I heard about Assassin's Creed Shadows. I do want to get it. I don't want to spend the money on a collector's edition. I've never done it because I think they're outrageously expensive.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Sometimes even the deluxe, I'm like, that's just too much.
Yeah.
But with the deluxe, if I pay, $10 more, whatever, and I get the first expansion, and then because when I got Valhalla, it was like I think like 3 expansions were included, so that was the season pass. So
Quick question for you.
Quick
question for you. So when Valhalla, did it feel like it was part of the game that they compartmentalized just to sell right back to you? Did it feel like that? Did it feel separate from?
No. The whole thing was it took separate like Viking type things and took it out there. Like there was one where it was the siege of Paris, and so you went through that storyline, and it had nothing to do with them going to England and kind of taking over those areas.
Right on.
So with that one, no, I didn't feel like it was. When they came out with their huge mega expansion, where it was actually in Valhalla, I felt like that could have been something, but I don't know for sure. But the appeal of the season pass is you're paying $10 to $20 more for the game. You're getting the extras in the deluxe, but you're also getting like X amount of DLCs that are coming with it. You take that away, there's not much incentive. Like I'm probably not going to spend $10 or $20 per DLC if you're not giving me a season pass where I get X amount for this deal. They said that they're trying to make it the best game that they can, but I'm sorry, you guys have a lot of flaws in your games and a lot of bugs because they're so huge. And there's so much stuff to do. But like, I mean, I remember playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I would be like running across like just the grass to get back across the river, and suddenly like I'm in the air and it's just air, just constant, and then like I'm like, okay, so it's frozen, and then like 5 minutes later you'll go and then like you die, and it's just like, what just happened? Like, what is this bug? Or you're like sailing on your Viking boat and suddenly it's flipping upside down and on the shore, and you're like, what just happened?
Wow.
Like, there's all these bugs, and I get it. I'm not mad about bugs when they become inconvenient like that. Like,
right.
Some of them are funny, some of them are just plain inconvenient.
Yes.
So I would say to Ubisoft that if these are the reasons you're giving us for pulling the game and taking more time, it better be polished.
Yes, that too. And I want to say it was one of these industry heads that said, the reason they charge more for a game, the reason they're $70 now is because they're longer now. So, but longer doesn't necessarily mean quality. You could just be padding the game just for padding's sake, So I think that's fundamentally just a bad way of looking at it. We charge more because games are longer. It's like, but is it more quality though? And Ubisoft proves that. Not necessarily, not all the time. You know what I mean?
Well, my thing is that if it was because they were longer, how come it was $60 for the PS4 version and $70 for the PS5 version?
That too.
And I'm gonna tell you, like, yes, it looks amazing on the PS5.
Yeah.
It doesn't look $10 more worth. You know what I mean?
Are you listening, like, PS5 Pro?
Just
listening?
Knock it off.
No, just kidding.
Just knock it off. But yeah, all I can say is that if they're going to continue to do these games, you need to get better testers in there.
Yes.
And there's always going to be something that you do with an update that breaks coding with something else. And I understand that. I really, really, truly do. As somebody that's done coding before, which I absolutely hate, by the way, because I'm not very good at it. But you fix one thing, something else is going to go wrong. So you're going to need to invest that money with more testers. And check things and have a team designated to fix things when things go wrong. You know, like, it's just, it gets ridiculous. So if you're gonna charge a lot for Assassin's Creed Shadows, you're pushing back the date, you're taking away that season pass plan, which means that you're either getting rid of the DLCs or you're not gonna offer it included in the deluxe package, then you need to not charge a ton, because it seems like they're pushing it back, and then they're trying to entice you by lowering the price of the collector's edition, but then they're gonna like shaft you on the back end with the season pass DLC stuff.
Right on. Okay.
It's never a good look when the price of the game drops, of any part of the game drops before it's even launched.
100%.
Never a good look. But I've said this before. This is what accountability in the AAA space looks like. This is what it looks like. They'll pivot. They won't admit anything. They won't admit that they screwed anything up. They'll blame external forces wherever possible, market conditions and competition, all that stuff. They won't ever actually say, we screwed up.
Right.
And you won't get any form of mea culpa. I mean, right now I'm not interested in anything Ubisoft comes out with. And it's because I don't think that their heart is into making good games. It's more focused on maximizing profits wherever possible.
That's right. And it's
and
killing
then
them.
I see what happened with The Crew earlier this year, shutting that down. The decline of the Assassin's Creed. This is my personal opinion, by the way, but the decline of the Assassin's Creed franchise, where it was something that I absolutely loved. And now it's this. And same thing with the Far Cry franchise, which again I absolutely loved, and it's just fallen off. I just don't have faith in them. I would need to see actual accountability, an owning of what they've done that's led to this point, without Stevie Chassard blaming toxic people and calling them non-decent human beings. That flippin' idiot.
That was not a smart move. But
what's that?
I need
what's
to see
that French word you just said? Accountability. What is it?
I wonder what
accountability. I don't know.
It's such a foreign word. I don't even know what that means.
It's a lot of syllables. I know.
Goodness. However, will someone in the gaming world decipher your
Monsieur Incroyable?
That's the problem. I think Ubisoft doesn't even know how to spell the word. That might be a good start. Spell the word, look up the dictionary definition, and go from there, Ubisoft.
There you go. We'll get you some cards. We'll write it down, mail it to you. You guys review it, and then if you have questions, give us a call.
Lord knows they can't afford it on their own. But anyway,
I need to see an announcement of changes that they're going to be making, like real accountability, changes to their pricing strategy. No more of this stupid trim level BS. Just make a good game and let the game sell itself.
Exactly. So since in my opinion, Ubisoft should have canceled this game when Ghost of Tsushima came out. They should have seen that and was like, that's it, because everyone was talking about that. This was the game that Ghost of Tsushima was what they wanted from Ubisoft. And if they couldn't have expanded on that or made it better, then why do it? That makes no sense to me. True. If there was nothing to be added to it,
just sheer hubris. Like, they thought, you know what? We're Ubisoft. We print money.
We do what we want.
It's like, there's never a reason. Like, if you are a developer and someone comes out with a game that you might be working on, and if you don't think it's different enough or doing something better, there's no reason to come out with that game. There's
sure.
absolutely no reason. So I think they should have canceled this
Pivot, bro.
before they came out with the disastrous. Oh, good lord! It's like, oh,
That's
yeah.
hard to do, though. That's hard to explain.
You can change an outfit, and you can scrap a background or change the existing code that has the animation for the background instead of
Scrapping a game is not something easy to do, especially when you've got shareholders wondering, hey, you said you were expecting this many bookings, and this is how many sales and how much profit you were expecting to make, and you're canceling it now. Well, we need new leadership.
They need to have a guy like David Zaslav.
Of hey, this is how we're going to scrap this original plan. We know we've done this much work and spent this much money on it, but it's going to cost this much more to go back and recode and change it and come up with this new game. There's always a solution. You just have to go about it right.
I'm not sure there isn't. So like with David Zaslav and what's going on with WB, it feels like Ubisoft is kind of in that same boat where just nothing is working. And David Zaslav came through and was like, that's cut, that's cut, that's cut. What you got working on there? That's cut too. You know, they need somebody in there that's like, this isn't going to work. So like, we're cutting it.
What were you thinking?
It's like
that's kind of one of the. I mean, you were starting to see that with the Ubisoft Montpellier studio, and I mean, we're going to be talking about that a little bit. Probably one of the next stories about Prince of Persia.
Yes. Yep. Oh yeah, and it was on the thumbnail.
It just seems like they're getting it from all sides.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pivot, how you maneuver in this. They're basically in a phone booth with a crocodile, and they have to find a way to maneuver in that. There's no moving room, number one, and you're getting attacked from everywhere.
Yeah,
it really sucks to be Ubisoft right now. And you know what? It didn't have to be this way.
It didn't. They earned every bit of it. Okay, but let's move on to our second main one. My son's going absolutely nuts. Yeah. Thank you for that, by the way. So this is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team disbanded after critically lauded platformer fails to meet expectations. This is coming from IGN, being panned by Nos's favorite person in the world, Rebecca Valentine.
God.
I loved her articles, but man, she was one of the ones that went after Stellar Blade, didn't she?
I think so, yeah.
Oh well. Anyway, the team behind Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown has been disbanded, according to a report from French media outlet Origami. Nice. In a video posted today in French, which IGN translated, Origami reports that the team behind The Lost Crown was disbanded despite seemingly positive reports from developers on their experiences working on the game. Per a tweet by Gauthier Andres, I've heard and read it. It was the best game production in my entire life, 3 or 4 times in a single weekend while getting information on the game's development. One after the other, I was told it was seen as a beacon of hope to create a safe space for people that were burnt out by Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Wait, what?
What's that?
Safe space.
What?
Sorry.
It's a safe space. Like,
so I guess they were given a break to work on Prince of Persia: Lost Crown from Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, okay.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah. The team has been disbanded by Ubisoft. I'm not gonna do that. The video also states that the game's fate was effectively decided just a few weeks after its release. The core game development team reportedly fought to get a sequel or at least more expansions beyond the single Massive Darkness expansion, but Ubisoft allegedly needed more help on other projects that had better sales potential. I would love to know what those games are. Per the report,
if it was Assassin's Creed, they did not do a good job of it.
It does. I mean, it still does have, with the marketing money that they have behind it, it technically probably does have their best sales potential.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
if they were talking about Star Wars, they were mistaken. I'm sorry, but the second that they announced that Ubisoft was making the Star Wars game, everybody was up in arms about it. Like,
yeah, it's like
here's your clue. Oh, you're gonna ignore it. Okay, cool.
Freaking lightsabers, man. You got to put the lightsabers in there.
No,
Give people
right?
what they want, dude.
No, just punch stormtroopers in the head with their helmets on, and you'll be fine.
That too, and knock them clean out. Yeah, that makes
And
so
if they're
much
coming
sense.
after you, just fall down in tall grass. They can't do anything.
Okay, but that is a mechanic. That's a mechanic used by a lot of games. I can't fault them for that. But the bugs, and the stuff that just didn't make sense. I didn't like its design either. I wasn't a big fan of the design, you know. But
Yeah.
some people say they like it. Whatever, you know, to each his own.
To each their own.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's got different standards.
Right. Yes, they do. Yeah, yeah. The game was developed by Ubisoft Montpellier, which employs hundreds of individuals as we
Montpellier.
Infinite in Limbo.
Just in case.
Montpellier. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Good old Canadian. Beyond Good and Evil 2. They say that's still coming out. I press X for doubt. As for comment, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown senior producer. Yep, sent the following statement to IGN. I'm extremely proud of our team's work and passion at Ubisoft Montpellier to create a game that resonated with players and critics alike, and I'm confident in its long-term success. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is now at the end of its post-launch roadmap with 3 free content updates and 1 DLC that released in September. Now, this is one that I really wanted to play, but there were some games that I anticipated a little more, so I went after those. But I do plan on getting this game. I plan on getting it.
But that's one thing that they're also not taking into account that we were talking about before is inflation's insane right now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, dude.
And most of us haven't recovered from COVID, to be honest. And then like all of this on top of it, your games are very expensive.
Yes.
We have to pick and choose
Yes.
because all of you decide, you get together and you're just like, okay, the month of October is game month, so we're gonna release them all right now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's 6 games for people to choose from. They can only buy one, you know. So
Yes.
I mean, you need to cut some slack on these sales.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, because launch sales are not going to be what they were.
Not for this type of game.
Yeah.
I mean, I love 2D platforming Metroidvanias. I
Yeah.
absolutely adore the genre, but I'm not paying $55 for this.
Right. It's Canadian dollars. So
Canada dollars, yeah.
Canada. So one thing I did hear, you know, researching
And it's got de novo as well. The anti-tamper software that basically is a rootkit for your system.
yeah. Right on.
So no thanks.
So when it released, from what I was looking up, it didn't release on PC simultaneously. So they're on.
No, because this came out in January, didn't it?
I want to say. Let's see. Do.
Hang on, let me.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I still want the Zelda game. I still want Silent Hill 2.
Yes, I hear it. That's
I
got
will-
so good reviews on it.
Yes. And
Such
you
good-
know me, I like the horror games, but I went for the game that we can all play, Astrobot. Because I love me some Astrobot anyway.
I still want to get that. I still haven't played the
Yeah, I bought
new
it.
one.
It was,
I mean,
I bought
can't
it. I
play it.
haven't played it because I was waiting for everybody to be here this weekend so we could all kind of like experience it together.
yeah.
So that's the game that I went for, but I really, really wanted Silent Hill. But I have to pick and choose, just like most of us with families and most of us dealing with inflation, where we have to pay more for food and get less food than we were.
Yes, dude, that
So-
bill is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so like I think the video game industry also needs to adjust their metrics for launch sales expectations,
Right.
units sold, and so on and so forth, because people need to realize like we're not in the position we were in 2020 where $10 doesn't seem like that much.
Right. Yeah.
It might as well be $40 at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Freaking so I see what you're saying. It's like make the game, put a long-term roadmap on it, you know, instead of it's like, oh, a week after it's out, it didn't meet our sales expectations.
Yeah.
It's like give it a little bit more time, because a game like this it feels more indie, you know, it feels like more of an indie title. So, you know, definitely put
Why
it
don't
on
you buy this?
Steam.
You could buy 2 good known games of known quality, indie games that are the same genre for the same price.
Yeah.
2 of them for the price of one of these, at least.
Yeah. Oh, and pricing too, definitely plays.
Or you got to
Foxy
think
Snow,
about
that game I was playing earlier on in the year, Biomorph, same genre.
Yes.
And it was a delightful game, and I bought that for $20.
I like how you use different voices for them talking.
That
was
great.
It's the best.
But it was such a fun game, through and through. I absolutely adore that game. But it cost me $20.
Yeah,
it didn't cost me $55. That's ridiculous, and it didn't come with the Nouveau. I didn't have to worry about that either.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. That bothers me. Plus, they also have to remember that while you might be trying to reach a new audience that's younger, the people that were into Prince of Persia, we're parents now, and we have kids that are video game age, and as a parent, we'll be absolutely not and buy our own games, but at the same time, we all know that we're buying games for our kids before we buy for ourselves. Most of the time with certain things, it's going to be a give and take.
We don't have Fortnite in this house, and we will never do that.
No,
I banned Fortnite for years. I let the youngest go back to it to play with his aunt because they were missing each other and all this other stuff. So I let him go back to it. And now his younger half brothers are playing, so they are always asking him to play. So I just gave up. I'm not going to ban it again. But anytime he asks me for money for it, I'm like, nope.
Mom, I want this skin. Nah.
And I always just say, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I'm not throwing money into that, but a lot of times, if he'll come to me and he'll be like, hey, can I get GTA for the PC? I know he already had it on his Xbox, but I went ahead and got it for him on the PC.
Very cool.
Because he can do different things.
Yeah.
You can mod and you can do other stuff, and so I did that, and I waited to get a game. So it's a give and take. I'll be like, okay, well, this game's coming out this time, so I want it. If you have anything that you want, I need to know so I can plan for it.
100%.
And so I'm lucky that he's not constantly trying to get into the same games as me when it comes to having to buy everything. But I do try to be fair and let him. I spend money on video games for my kid too, and even my older one, my 25-year-old, I sent him money for a video game because I knew he had a budget. I had a little bit extra money, and I wanted him to be able to play that and us to have something to talk about. So I spent that money on him, and so you have to, these developers have to remember, one, inflation and life be crazy. 2, we fans that grew up playing this are now parents.
So outside of inflation, you're right. I mean, time is also a factor. The time that it takes to get through your story, and hopefully you don't have a lot of bloat in there just to raise the price.
100% good.
You want something that's tight, good, and tells a complete story.
I would even say that commodity is more valuable than money. Really,
I agree. It's a good story. I
kind of want to go back and play I love the Prince of Persia franchise from the original all the way up to what was the last one I played was the Two Thrones.
Yes. Was that one good?
When they started remaking them into more like a 3D platformer, the first one that came out was Sands of Time, which was excellent. I've never laughed harder in a single player game playing that. You weren't supposed to. It was just unintentionally hilarious.
Especially
at points.
If you expend all your sand and then you're stuck in this one little loop. But
you're stuck in midair after you've already committed to a jump that's going to kill you. So you gave yourself your own instant replay. It was fantastic. It was so much fun. Warrior Within, I didn't get through because tonally it's very different.
Yes.
But I don't think I gave that one a fair try. So I may go back and do that.
Same.
Considering it's a retro game and I'm allowed to do that now. But I did play the Two Thrones, which I thought was great. I just don't remember it that much. I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember the game that much. So it might be worthwhile to go back to those.
100%. Yeah.
Because I know they're good.
Yeah.
I know they're good. They're not going to cost me $55. They're not going to come with de novo. I don't have to sign in to some Ubisoft launcher to play them. I could just play them.
Right on. So just to summarize, money, time, and maybe put this on, PC to start out with, give it a better chance to survive.
Well, they're doing that now with all of their games because they realize that launching it just on their own store, and I think Epic Games as well, is not enough of a reach. Most people for PC games use Steam.
Yep.
But get it out as many places as you can. Use GOG as well. Everything you can. Get your game in front of as many eyes as you can, and make sure it's good.
Yes. Yep. Because I guarantee if they would have did this with the Lost Crown, it would have done pretty good numbers, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. They probably would have switched gears and stopped people from working on Between Good and Evil, or what is it called?
Which sounds like hell.
Yeah, it's
because if you've got to put people on another project just to give them a sense of purgatory from it, you're basically saying that Beyond Good and Evil is basically a hellscape.
Yeah,
the development of that's
probably not going to see the light of day. To be 100% honest, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. But this is our last big one. It's a big one. So the FTC came out with click to cancel. They don't believe that if it's so easy to get into a subscription, it shouldn't be hard to get out of it. So they came up with the click to cancel rule, and apparently some people have a problem with that. This is coming
shockingly.
I know, right?
I'm so surprised. Yes.
I'm shocked. Well, not that shocked, but this is coming from The Verge. This is by Wes Davis and Richard Lawler. Guess who's suing the FTC to stop click to cancel? The cable industry, home security companies, and advertisers are suing to stop a rule requiring making it easier to cancel subscriptions. That threw me off. So 3 industry groups, the NCTA, the Electronic Security Association, the ESA, and the Interactive Advertising Bureau, IAB, are suing to prevent the Federal Trade Commission I'm not going to do all from enforcing its new click to cancel rule requires companies to make it easy to cancel subscriptions. Their complaint alleges that the rule is arbitrary, capricious, and an abuse of discretion. I only know what 2 of those words mean. Previously reported by Reuters. Under click to cancel, if you sign up online, you must be allowed to cancel online rather than needing to call a support line, write a letter, or show up in person. Most aspects of this expansion of the negative option rule will go into effect 180 days from its entry into the Federal Registry, assuming it isn't blocked. I don't think it will be, just because, what do you call it? People, us, public opinion. Public opinion is on their side, right? So the NCTA, Internet and Television Association, represents service providers like Capcom, Charter, and Cox, and entertainment studios like Disney, AMC, Paramount, and Warner Bros. Discovery. Sure, they have a lot of representatives. The group's lawyers argue that the FTC is trying to regulate consumer contracts for all companies in all industries and across all sectors of the economy by attempting to forbid businesses from making customers cancel services using a method that differs from how they signed up. Recent Supreme Court decisions like overturning Chevron deference and a 2022 decision strengthening the major questions doctrine have stripped authority from regulators to tackle issues that legislators have yet to cover. Meanwhile, well-funded industries can roadblock consumer and environmental protections with lobbying and lawsuits like this. Okay, wow. Mm-hmm. I mean, Verge, I really like Verge for this because they are just so good at bringing you the facts. They
bring things to your attention really well.
Their attention to detail is, I think, is unmatched in most cases. So these representatives, they represent 700 members, including almost any company connected to advertising, with Google, Netflix, Amazon, Meta, Vizio, and NFL among its board members, while the ESA covers home security giants like ADT. So these are the people who are trying to sue the FTC to stop click to cancel.
the problem with it is that they're angry that they're trying to make it easier for people to leave.
Right.
You know, like these companies that require you to call in and then get transferred like 3 times and then offered something, you know, free or discounted for X amount of time to keep you as a customer, but you're locked in for like another 2 years. It's not okay.
Right. And that's the strategy you're that they actually use. You know what I mean? And
it's kind of like a gym. It's easier to either just cancel my debit card or, you know, not show up, because, you know, you have to practically write a PhD dissertation and present it and, you know, defend it before you can cancel a gym membership. And it's kind of like that with these companies. I feel like they are showing their true colors of just absolute disrespect and greed by suing the FTC over this rule and just showing that they don't care about consumers. All they care about is getting your money. And it's just like, you could have more business if you made it easier for us to either come and go or get cheaper rates or shop around or whatever. But instead of doing that, they're like, no, we just want to make it impossible for you to go anywhere. So that you're stuck, and mwahaha.
And I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna look this up real quick. I'm pretty sure Prime came out and said, we have no problem with this because we have quality products, so people come in and they don't want to leave. But let me
I'm gonna press X to doubt that one.
Okay, now I forget. Okay.
I think it's mostly that Prime Videos include it with your Prime subscription, and people aren't canceling because they like.
I don't use. I mean, since COVID's pretty much, well, largely behind us, I don't use Prime nearly as much anymore. And I've mentioned a few times, I'm getting more and more resentful of the number of advertisements that I'm seeing. Like when I'm looking in the top, and you start an ad break, and I see 1 of 12. Get the hell out of here. That is ridiculous. I don't care if they're 15-second ads. Everything that you advertise for me, I'm not going to buy on principle, because the advertisements are stupid. I'm already paying for Prime. What am I paying for? If I'm not taking advantage of the free shipping, it doesn't make any sense for me to hold on to the product. I can get it elsewhere. I can get my entertainment elsewhere.
So I do have a few questions. Do you think there's any reason for a company to disagree with what the FTC is trying to do?
Money.
Yeah, exactly. Money, greed.
Any other reason than money? Do they have a moral argument to stand on? No. I think
that they're just trying to continue to pull in the money that they're getting for really them. Like, okay, so if I paid $20 for Netflix a month, but the shows that I want to watch I've either gone through it all, or I have to wait 2 years to get it, and I continue to keep Netflix for the next 2 years, and I only watch it 3 months out of the year. That's making them a lot of money, and they don't care because I'm not using it. It's the same principle. They don't care. You know, if they want the money. They want money for nothing.
It comes down to they want money for nothing.
Exactly. The harder it is for you to leave that service, the more money that they're going to continue to get. And instead of improving things and gaining customers the right way, they're trying to keep them by locking them in. So no, they absolutely don't have a leg to stand on, in my opinion. And I feel like they're just being crappy.
What do you think will be the result?
Sorry, go ahead.
So what do you think will be the result from these companies of this new rule from the FTC?
I think they're going to try to tie it up and fight it for as long as they can. But I ultimately think that the FTC has the backing of the public. And they're probably going to end up winning, but I think that they're going to drag it out for as long as humanly possible.
So let's say it does go through. How do you think the business operations for these companies will change?
They're already planning around it. They're already coming up with contingencies just in case this
Yeah.
this doesn't go their way. These guys aren't stupid.
Right.
They've
Yeah.
got lawyers explicitly for this to buy themselves some time,
Yeah.
and so they can continue making money hand over fist like they have been.
Yeah.
But just in case things don't go their way, which I don't think it's a guarantee that one way or the other,
True.
they've got plans in place for how they're going to deal with this, so that when the law is actually enforced, if it is enforced, how it's enforced will be a different story.
Yeah.
Then they'll be ready because they don't want to be liable.
So what do you think will be like one of their strategies?
I honestly think they'll probably do like, you know, like the cell phone companies, like you have a 2-year contract and you get this and this,
Gotcha,
you know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think it'll be like, okay, let's say let's say on Prime Video. Well, if you're gonna sign up, and especially like, okay, so if you're gonna sign up, you're gonna have to be locked in at this much money for this amount of time.
Or they do rewards.
Yeah, and then or if you take this 1 week trial, and then you'll get like $2 off or whatever. For X amount of time, but you still have to sign up for 6 months, 12 months,
there you go.
8 months. I think what they're gonna do is like they'll be like, okay, this much at this price.
Yeah.
You have to have it for 3 months. You have to have it for 6 months.
Yes.
You have to have it for whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they're gonna do to counteract this.
Your bare bones
and
month to month package.
Yeah.
You don't have anything.
Yeah, and
The
they're
longer that
probably
you're
going to raise the
subscribed,
price too.
The longer that you're subscribed, the more tiers you have access to, the more extra special stuff that you can also gain access to for your loyalty. So that might not actually be a bad thing if it gives consumers more of what they want.
Yeah.
And they're rewarded for continuing to pay month to month. That is a little bit more consumer friendly as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a bad idea.
If they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're keeping program, they're, you know, like, okay, I can't stand that it takes 2 to 3 years for you to make a 8 to 10 episode series just because you're not on cable television or primetime television. Like, if they can do 23 episodes in a year, you can too. You know what I mean? And especially when you're making as much money as you're making, like, I don't think that we should have to be like, okay, well, here's Stranger Things, and then it's going to be 3 years until you get a new season.
Man, Stranger Things fell off hard though.
Yeah,
Holy
but
crap.
as an example, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't have to wait. Like, okay, so you just did the show, you like it, you're going to renew it.
Yeah.
So in 6 months, you should have it written, start filming, and then release, so it's within the year.
Yeah.
No, we're waiting 2 years for your service to come back with a show that's half of what we get on free network television. You know what I mean? And it just gets a little old. And then you're relying on these people to like keep your subscription until you get it out or until you come up with something new. And you're taking forever to do it.
I think binge watching stuff is out of the window now with this. To keep people, you know, locked into it longer. They one episode every week or something like that. That's going to be the norm, I think. Yeah,
like I noticed with like Hulu, I'm really into Only Murders in the Building for some reason.
My wife is too.
I didn't think it would work. I was bored. I was out of things to watch. And so I gave it a chance, and I was like, wow, this actually does work.
They got a stacked cast too, so
they really, really do.
Yeah.
And so, but like if you look at it, like they release one a week. You can binge watch later, but they release one a week. And it, as much as it irritates me, like I also understand. Merlin, stop shaking. Jeezy Pete, it's like an earthquake.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be an actual real approach to customer retention.
Yes.
And giving your customers more reasons to stay with you instead of the current idea of customer retention, which is barring the door and hiding the exit signs. It's so dirty. Let them leave. Otherwise, they'll just eventually the resentment will grow, and when they leave, they'll never come back.
Yeah.
Like if it's me, and I had to pay separate for Prime Video, I would get it for the 2 weeks that whatever show I want to watch is going to be on, or however long it's going to be on, and then I'll cancel it because you are offering me nothing else.
Yeah.
There have actually been like websites and instructions on how to quit certain services.
Yeah.
They'll show you exactly what you need to do, where you need to click, what you need to say to get out of there. And those aren't going away if this falls, if this FTC ruling doesn't actually come to life.
Yeah.
You're going to see more of that.
Oh yeah. And unfortunately,
more piracy, more all that stuff.
Okay. So what I'm getting is there's no reason to object to this ruling unless you are just trying to keep.
Well, they don't want to get off the gravy train.
Right.
Yeah. They want to keep people trapped and keep that income coming. And not make it easy to get out of it, instead of trying to make their service better.
Right. I mean, there's something relatable in that though, right? Isn't there? I mean, I got free money. I don't want it to stop. You're going to try and take it away from me? I'm going to fight as legitimately as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I want my new yacht. I get it.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay. All right.
For me, I'd just rather have True Moo chocolate milk instead of having it by the great value,
So we're hitting the 10:30 mark. It's 11:30 for you over there. Nice. What time is it there?
12:30 for me.
Jeez. Okay, yeah, let's any final thoughts? We're here to final thoughts now.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Corporations need to stop being so damn greedy and I'm gonna say it, dickheaded.
Well, I don't mind if they're greedy, just as long as they offer a really good product
an extent.
And don't be like, it's like, okay, so let's say,
greedy to the detriment of the consumer is what bothers me.
Let's say True Moon, they can be as greedy as they want, put out more milk, just don't try to, if they had a subscription service, don't try to con me into staying in your subscription service. Just give me all the milk you have and I'll be happy.
I know. If I pay for 10 gallons a month in my subscription, don't deliver me 2 gallons and then 8 half gallons.
Yeah. And if you don't like it,
be on the credit card. Why is it showing up as like a chocolate milk subscription?
Dude, I'm not even lying. If True Moo had a subscription, it would be on like Donkey Kong.
Oh my gosh. Don't even have to leave the house to get your milk. Yes. I mean,
love my Shaki milk.
Yeah. My Shaki milk. Where's that from? Anywho's it's. So yes, Gamer, do you have anything to expand on that though?
I mean, really, I just feel like, you're right about the greed. It's not about the greed. It's about taking the money and not giving the worth. Is what bothers me.
Yeah.
And in gaming, I feel like they need to kind of, up at the top, you need to adjust your expectations for the world around you and give these games a chance before you're like, oh, here's on the chopping block, this studio's next.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And they didn't give that game a proper chance. They cut its legs out from under it from the beginning by not releasing it on more platforms. They should have done that to give it the best chance they could have.
Prince of Persia? Well, the pricing strategy for that's insane too.
That too, yes. For an indie feeling title, it should have been cheaper. To get more people interested. That would have opened the floodgates for them because it looks like a really good game.
I think some surveys need to start being done like they used to when we would walk through the mall and ask us to watch a movie or give us our opinion on this or get a demo. Yes. Sign people up with an NDA that are beta testers or something. You know what I mean? Like, you don't give them the whole game, just give them this part of the game, give this section, this part, something so people can test it out. You can see a reaction to it.
We have that. It's called early access, Gigi. It's called you buy the game and then we don't pay you pay us to test our game.
Yeah, and pay more than where you're going to, on the real release date, then we're going to make the plebs.
And we can fire our testers and save money that way.
Yes,
and then just offload that responsibility onto you, the consumer.
Yep, you'll be our beta testers.
And if you don't like it, well, you're toxic and you're non-decent human being.
You're so right.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That guy's words are gonna stick in my head forever.
Yeah, because it was a really, really dumb thing to say.
That's such a foolish thing to say.
Yeah. Oh, him. I feel like he basically sealed the deal for Ubisoft. It's like, because that's the kind of environment that is there. That's the work environment that's there. Oh,
Yeah.
woe is me. It's not us.
You got to get rid of people like that. No,
You do,
there's no
yeah.
question about it. You got to get rid of people like that. People that
Mhm.
are treating people that are believe that they are entitled to succeed. You are not entitled to succeed. This is a business.
But Ubisoft, that's their ethos, though. They won't fire him
I don't know what
because
y'all are
they
talking
100% agree with him. That's
I don't know what y'all are talking about. It was not their fault. It's all on us.
yeah.
Like,
We're
Right,
not
the
buying
vocal
their game.
minority.
God
Yeah.
forbid we have expectations and opinions. It is the freaking consumer's fault.
Mhm.
Always.
Vocal minority
We
who's
will
so
never-
small,
Mhm.
Yeah,
who's
we'll
so
never
small.
take accountability.
we can tank studios.
Exactly. Right. So you would
Right.
think a minority wouldn't be able to,
I
dictate
know.
whether
Yeah,
a
you
studio
would
does
think
well
that.
or not.
It just
well.
when he blamed the fans, he lost every ounce
Mhm.
of respect I had left.
Yeah.
And in turn made me not want to give Ubisoft any of my money in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
not
sad
while he's
because-
working there.
Yeah. which is sad because there are games that I do like. I don't think they should have ever tried to even attempt a Star Wars game, and that was blasted all over the internet.
Or
Thanks.
a Japanese centered Assassin's Creed. I think they should have scrapped that once Ghost of Tsushima came out. They
agree.
should have seen how great it was, and if they couldn't have improved on it, which it doesn't look like they can, they should have just scrapped it. There's no reason
Yeah.
to keep it around. It's like,
I remember from the
There's
before the
plenty of other
Assassin's,
stuff they could get.
the earlier Assassin's Creed games were they were set in a certain location, but there was an overarching story,
yeah,
right? That Ghost of Tsushima, as far as I understand, is pretty much just that one story.
Mhm.
Well, with Assassin's Creed, up until when the hell did they change it? I think it was Black Flag.
yeah. I want to say
think
yeah.
After Desmond was, spoilers,
Mhm.
after Desmond died.
Mhm.
And I thought, why did they kill him off? Like, this was, I actually really liked how they were building all of that up, all of the gods and their role in
Mhm.
civilization up until that point, and what all of these hidden meanings and things were, how they influenced development of human civilization.
Mhm.
I liked all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that was something that if you'd retained that, I don't know if they have, to be honest, because I didn't play past Black Flag.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know. Odyssey is
that's
still
something that
still
other
kicking.
games don't really have. So
Mhm.
you're not really competing directly
Mhm.
with
right.
games like Ghost of Tsushima or Tsushima and Ghost of Yote, however you say them.
Yeah. Right.
So they're not really like one-to-one
Mhm.
necessarily, but you got to give it something. You have to differentiate it enough,
Yeah.
because ideally, this game is going to be great. Ghost of Yote probably, and
Mhm.
then other people will still want to play AC Shadows.
Yeah.
But the reason that people aren't going to want to play Shadows is because of everything going on surrounding the studio
Yeah.
itself and their decisions.
Mhm. It's like, okay, maybe that's just me then, because I didn't play Ratchet and Clank because I love Jack and Daxter,
Mm.
because they were kind of the same thing. And I played Metal Gear, the Metal Gear series, so I didn't get into Splinter Cell, right? So that just might be my thing then, my hang up. But it's not everybody saying, hey, we've
It
got
might be,
Ghost of
but-
Tsushima at home. You don't need Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, if I had confidence in them using the animal. Oh, God, it's been so many years since I played. Sending somebody into this memory, into these worlds, and living that way. Like,
Oh. Yeah. Like the Animus or something like that?
Yeah, the animus.
Yeah.
And
Abstergo.
And then the your apples of Eden and showing the gods and stuff like that. If you can
Yeah.
make it interesting enough, and you've got that back and forth between the world,
Mhm.
I like the history aspect of it. When you get some of that history and some of that
Yes.
stuff going on back then, yeah, that's great. But
Oh, yeah.
it seems like lately you're just like, oh, Assassin's Creed Valhalla brought in these new customers, but it was also during the pandemic. Don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people didn't like the fact that it wasn't Assassin's Creed like or even stealth heavily stealth based.
Yeah.
And so people really, really didn't like that. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to go back to it, but we're going to take this character that we just had in this video game that was a rat bastard and make him, you know, this hero in this game and show his origin. And it's just like, I just liked that character so much. I didn't even, I was like, there's no way I even want to hear about this game that they're coming up with next. So I mean, you've got to do something to get the fans interested. And so, you know, I can see where you're going with that. You know, like I might not have played this game because I'm into this game or something. But you know, I don't know. I just think that they went about it all wrong with Shadows. I think it could have been awesome, and they just went about it the wrong way.
Oh yeah, because people wanted an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan.
They did.
This.
Everybody really, really did.
No,
but I think it's just like come up with an original idea.
Who knows what could have happened if they actually didn't go the route they went. They actually, you know, tried to get back to the origins of the franchise. Who knows what would have happened? Now we will never know. You know, it sucks. It sucks. But
and I mean, the preview for Shadows had me like excited. Like I was ready for it. But there was also times where I was like, this probably isn't going to be as awesome as I wish it would be. They
got too far away from their roots, I think. But what say we close this out real quick?
Good to go. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nas, you got to sign off. Because I don't want to interrupt you again. You know.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Just don't be a passive consumer. Do your research, trust your instincts, and learn to be patient. A lot of these studios take advantage of people's FOMO, but you're better than that. Just learn to wait, and you'll be rewarded for it.
Spoken like a true PC gamer. There we go.
Absolutely.
I'll see you guys on the other side.
Bye, everybody. See you next weekend.
Whoopsies.
Bye-bye.
See, I always cut someone off. Dadgummit. But I want to thank this awesome panel for showing up today. Definitely, they carried this episode. I let them know at the tail of this. I didn't do hardly any research. They were going to have to, and they knocked it out of the park, as always. If you want to see more of them, their how to get a hold of them, their socials, their Twitches and YouTubes, they're going to be in the description. While you're down there, check out the Rolodex videos that we have on this channel. And last but not leastly, thank you, whether you're watching now or later. Thank you for showing up. We really appreciate it. There would be no reason to get up at 5 in the morning to get this ready and still fail miserably. But we'll see you next Saturday, same time. But until then, keep it casual. Peace. All right.